Welcome to the Flagship Studio at the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. We are here on day 3 and starting off with John Lepore of ProFound. Great to have you here, John.
Yeah, terrific, Lindy. Absolutely a pleasure to be here.
Great.
You'll notice I've lost my voice a little bit, and it's because it's been such an amazing conference.
Already been a big week.
Yeah, a lot of big week, but a lot of energy to use it on this interesting conversation.
Good. Well, we want to hear all about that. So one of the themes of this week has been this idea of polyintelligence,
Yes.
fusion of human, nature, and machine intelligence coming together to really underpin our platforms that are then progressing into programs. Tell us about how ProFound embodies that concept.
Yeah, absolutely. It's core to what we're doing, and it's always great when Newbar has these neologisms that drive our thinking on things. And this idea of polyintelligence and the combination of human intelligence, so-called artificial intelligence, and just sort of getting the best of information across some collaborators as well is really insightful. And at ProFound Therapeutics, what we're working on necessitates that approach. Because as you know, what we're doing is finding a whole new world of proteins that have been unidentified previously, and there's a very large number of them, in the thousands or tens of thousands. And that really requires not just the intellect of single individuals, but really a big data approach to understanding these in a computational way. So really exciting and very apt way of thinking about it.
Great. And you are coming in as CEO, or you've been in the role for quite some time, but taking that original concept and progressing it. Tell us a little bit about the progress over the last year, both for the company, but then also the platform and programs, and how you're thinking about that.
Yeah, sure thing. It's been an amazing year, 2024, and already 2025 has been pretty busy the first 2 weeks. The platform, as a reminder, has to do with finding novel proteins that are not encoded by the known 20,000 genes, but instead are completely unanticipated open reading frames that encode novel proteins. This was an idea that was incubated within Flagship, like to what extent is that really the case and how might it be important in disease? It was a resounding yes, that is really a major mechanism for cells to express many different proteins that were unanticipated. And what we're now doing is identifying their role in disease and their potential for the protein to be a drug or the proteins to be drug targets. And this is coming together really, really well during the last year and across those dimensions. First of all, from the platform, we've now really nailed how to define these proteins, how to rigorously determine where they're expressed, and how to connect them to human disease through human genetics. So that's been really spectacular to see that playing out, and that's been recognized by pharma company interest in collaborating with us.
Great.
We signed our first deal with Pfizer and Pioneering Medicine last year. That's an exciting approach to finding novel therapies for obesity, and we've got lots of good interactions in other dimensions. The pipeline is progressing, so we've evolved from a science platform where we might find proteins to now having found many that have disease target-like features. And we're advancing a pipeline across oncology, immunology, and metabolism. Some very exciting things hopefully we'll be able to speak about publicly shortly. And then finally, the company is doing really well. I'm really pleased. We've attracted amazing talent. We've been recognized externally with Biospace Best Places to Work, Fierce 15, and it's really coming together nicely. Very,
very nice. So it seems like there's enormous possibility. How do you think about focusing as you are developing that pipeline? Where will you go first, and what's the natural place to start?
Yes, we have a strategy to do that, because having identified tens of thousands of novel proteins, it could be sort of mind-numbing, like where do you start? There's a very discrete way of doing that. The first is we're working on the proteins that have features that are most likely to make them drug targets or drugs. One of them is a fairly straightforward thing where we've identified novel proteins that we've demonstrated they're in the cell membrane, and we've demonstrated they're only present in cancer and not in normal tissue.
Neat.
And that really sets them up to be targets for cancer-targeting therapies like ADCs.
Yeah.
And we're advancing a number of very exciting targets in that space. And the second way we're doing this to prioritize targets, as I've already mentioned, through human genetics, where the connectivity to mutations in DNA give us a strong clue that these novel proteins might be causative in disease.
Yep.
and we're systematically finding these. And again, this is very attractive both to us for internal programs, but also to pharma partners to work with us.
So one of the things that is interesting is the idea that we're talking about the dark proteome, something that hasn't been illuminated before.
Yes.
And we're hearing that jargon expand. It was something that was very new when ProFound was initially started, but now is gaining some traction.
Yes.
How are you thinking about how ProFound is positioned in that arena of the dark proteome?
Yeah, so a couple factors there. You know, as I alluded to, when the company was founded about 4 years ago, it was sort of a prescient idea that this might be important. As I said, it's a resounding yes that this is a very important area of cellular biology and regulation. We don't use the term dark proteome because, in fact, once you know the proteins are there, there's nothing dark about it. There's no dark magic, there's no black magic. They're bona fide proteins that follow the same rules as the known proteins. It's just that they were hiding in plain sight. And what our platform has allowed us to do is to discover and characterize them at scale across every human cell type and tissue. And look, it's, I think, terrific that it's starting to emerge in the literature that this area is of interest and of importance. But wow, we've got a really strong lead. It's 4 years of very large investment and deep expertise that's putting us in a position to really find the best targets most quickly. Very
exciting. So, John, it sounds like shining a light on something that we didn't know was there, but is actually always been there to find a trove of opportunities in front of you. It sounds like a great year ahead for you.
It sure is, and that's, you know, just to conclude, that's what attracted me to join the company. I'm a physician scientist by background and really driven by finding the best opportunities to help patients in important ways. And this whole new world of proteins that offers up opportunities for novel drug targets is very exciting for me and for the company.
Great. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.